muzzling the whistleblowers. The campaign to stifle talk about Firestone's troubled tires. Life on the Mississippi, a riverboat rally for Gore and Lieberman. Anxious hours off Russia for a desperate rescue effort below. And 20 years ago, she killed a cop. Her sentence, life.
And I stand today with much remorse in my heart for the victim's family.
Should she go free?
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
And good evening. Dan is off tonight. I'm Russ Mitchell. Investigators suspect heat is one key factor in the fly-apart failures of those recalled Firestone SUV tires. And Firestone itself is feeling plenty of heat tonight from angry owners of vehicles equipped with the tires and from government safety officials. CBS investigative reporter Cheryl Atkinson has word tonight of counter-moves by the company.
Tonight, CBS News has learned federal safety officials are growing concerned that as they continue their investigation, people are literally dying in crashes allegedly related to Firestone tires. This week, a Florida doctor was killed when his ATX tire peeled apart on the highway. Firestone today want to fight to exclude the media from upcoming depositions of former workers at Firestone's Decatur, Illinois plant, where many of the bad tires were made. The Decatur workers allege they saw rushed inspections, flaws covered up on tires that should have been scrapped, and old rubber used. Firestone's executive vice president says he doesn't believe it.
We have many employees that will tell you that it is a great company to work for, and we make great products, and they make great products.
But Alan Hogan, who built tires at another Firestone plant in Wilson, North Carolina, makes some of the very same allegations as the Decatur workers.
The inspection is done very rapidly, very fast. I don't think the people have enough time to inspect the tires properly. Quantity overrules quality. If it's black and round, and put it on the conveyor and it'll get counted.
Hogan left Firestone to start his own repair shop. Now that business may be in jeopardy because after Hogan first appeared on CBS News this week, some workers at the Wilson plant retaliated by organizing a boycott against him and the business that leases him space. Hogan's attorney blames Firestone and demands they issue an apology to Mr. Hogan and admit that what he said to CBS News is true. We're told federal safety officials are feeling pressure to move quickly with their Firestone investigation in light of the number of deaths allegedly due to the tires, and the government is also taking a close look at some Firestone tires that have not been recalled in this country. Russ?
Cheryl Atkinson in Washington, thank you. Now to politics, when those 150,000 red, white, and blue balloons dropped at the close of the Democratic National Convention last night in Los Angeles, they signaled the beginning of the end game in Campaign 2000. And as CBS's John Roberts reports, Al Gore's first move took him straight to the heartland.
Hoarse from his acceptance speech and just 2 hours sleep, the vice president landed in the swing state of Wisconsin.
We need to bring our people together, break down the barriers.
Drawing on favorite themes from last night's address, Gore wound up a crowd in La Crosse, then boarded a Mississippi riverboat.
God bless you, Wisconsin. Thank you for being here.
For the next 3 days, he'll travel 400 miles through Midwest states his campaign says will decide the next president. Gore is hoping for that all-important bounce following a convention in which he assumed the mantle of party leader and stepped out on his own.
And I stand here tonight as my own man. And I want you to know me for who I truly am.
I loved it. I had a good time. It was the best I've ever heard at a convention. That's an unbiased response.
But as the vice president took a stroll down the lazy river, hosting one of his famous policy seminars, opponent George Bush took an audacious swing at him in Gore's own backyard.
Last night we heard a laundry list of new promises, which I thought was an attempt to cover up old failures. Will we prolong 4 more years of Clinton Gore, or will we give America a fresh start?
Voters were reminded of the Clinton scandals yesterday after a leak that a grand jury was investigating possible perjury charges against the president in the Monica Lewinsky case. Leaving on vacation today, the president gave a thumbs up to Gore's performance, but would say nothing about the leak. The Texas governor, though, jumped at the chance.
I don't think it's fair for the vice president that somebody leak a an internal memo or whatever was leaked that would affect his night. He needed to have his night free and clear, I thought. And,
by most accounts, last night was the biggest moment in Gore's political career. His speech appeared to satisfy delegates and went a long way toward unifying the party. Whether it energized voters is a question that won't be answered until Monday, when the results of weekend polls are released. Stay tuned. Russ?
John Roberts with the Gore campaign. Thanks. And just hours before Al Gore delivered that all-important speech last night, Democrats were outraged over that leaked report of a new grand jury looking into the Monica Lewinsky affair. CBS's Jim Stewart has some surprising new information about that. Jim?
Russ, yesterday, the White House, Democratic Party officials, and just about everyone in Washington who follows politics were in agreement that it had to be a Republican that leaked the news that a grand jury was looking into the Monica Lewinsky affair. Now, a federal judge has stepped forward and volunteered that he was the leak. And not only that, but the judge was appointed by a Democrat. Federal Judge Richard Cudahy, part of a panel that oversees the independent counsel's office investigating President Clinton, acknowledged in a statement that he, quote, inadvertently, unquote, referred to the grand jury investigation in response to a reporter's questions. The grand jury, meanwhile, is scheduled to meet next Tuesday, leaks or no leaks. Russ?
Jim Stewart in Washington. Thanks a lot. Doctors said today that Senator John McCain's deadly skin cancer apparently has not spread. McCain will have surgery tomorrow in Arizona to remove melanoma spots from his left arm and temple.
So I'm very confident, the doctors are very confident, and that we'll have this thing done very quickly, and in a very short period of time I'll be back on the Straight Talk Express campaigning for our candidates around the country as well as for Governor Bush.
The former Vietnam War prisoner added, quote, "I've been in a number of fights in my life, and this is just another one, and I'm sure I'll prevail," end quote. More potentially embarrassing FBI testimony today at a bail hearing for a scientist charged with breaching security at the Los Alamos nuclear weapons lab. An FBI agent said Wen Ho Lee easily passed a lie detector test given by a private company for the Energy Department, but he said the FBI rejected the results because the test did not conform to agency guidelines. The same FBI agent acknowledged yesterday he gave incorrect testimony at a hearing last year when bail for Lee was denied. A Russian rescue capsule came ever so close today to hooking onto that sunken nuclear submarine. But in the end, the story was the same as it's been all week: failure. CBS's Richard Roth has that and more from the home port of Russia's Northern Fleet in Murmansk.
Russian divers finally managed to link their rescue craft to the crippled sub 350 feet down today, then heartbreak. A docking collar couldn't be latched on to attempt a rescue. The hull of the Kursk is too severely damaged from whatever brought it down. The Russians say it was a collision during last week's naval exercise that sank the sub, with an icebreaker that sailed away, according to one account. Russian TV dramatized a darker theory, an underwater hit and run by a foreign submarine. The message in the media here, it wasn't our fault. But Western experts say a collision doesn't fit the facts. Defense Secretary William Cohen today was unequivocal, denying the U.S. had any role in Russia's tragedy.
I can only assure you and the American people that there were no American ships involved in this matter.
And U.S. sources say they're not aware of any foreign ships or subs that could have been involved either. Their theory is the Kursk was the victim of a deadly onboard accident. A series of torpedo explosions that would explain the seismic jolts at sea recorded by Norwegian experts last Saturday in the place where the Kursk went down. Vladimir Putin said his advisors told him at the outset the chances for survivors were extremely small. For anguished relatives of the submarine's crewmen, it's a reality already sinking in. A British rescue sub is due on the scene tomorrow. More than just the best hope of saving lives now, it may be the only hope. Richard Roth, CBS News, Murmansk.
Later on tonight, CBS Evening News, a former U.S. Navy sailor tells what it was like when he was trapped in a sunken submarine. Also coming up after half a century, more and more South Koreans say, "Yankee, go home." And she's been a model prisoner for 20 years. Should this cop killer go free?
It's allergy season. Or Allegra season. Enjoy your world with non-drowsy Allegra for people 12 and over. In clinical studies, less than 3% of people experience drowsiness, cold or flu, nausea, or menstrual pain. Ask your doctor for more information about Allegra and turn this allergy season into Allegra season. Enjoy your world.
Who says you can't share secrets with your grandson for years and years?
Who says you can't watch the waves break for many summers to come?
Pravachol says you can fight back against heart attack. If you have high cholesterol or heart disease, and diet and exercise still aren't enough, adding Pravachol can make a difference. Other drugs lower cholesterol, but Pravachol is the only drug of its kind that's also proven to help prevent both first and second heart attacks, so you can live a longer, healthier life. Talk to your doctor about Pravachol today. Pravachol, a prescription drug, isn't for everyone, including people with liver problems or women who are pregnant, nursing, or may become pregnant. And because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Pravachol. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about any medicines you are taking.
Who says you can't spend a lifetime with your first love?
Pravachol, it's your life. Fight for it.
Following angry and sometimes violent protests by local residents, the U.S. Air Force today agreed to close a strafing range in South Korea and stop using live bombs at another range nearby. It is either a small advance or a retreat in the battle for acceptance by a longtime ally. More on that from CBS's Barry Peterson on assignment in Seoul.
American troops trained for a potential war with North Korea. They are confident they'd win. But this is the battle they may be losing on the streets of Seoul, where protesters want American bases closed and American troops sent home.
Yankee Call! Protests here have become so common and sometimes so violent that even South Korean and American officials realize something here is going terribly wrong.
Father Moon Chung-yeon is on the anti-American front line.
We are not happy with the U.S. troops in this country.
So you really want them to leave Korea?
Well, ultimately, yes.
Among issues fueling anti-American sentiment, this bombing range near a fishing village. Protesters want the range closed down. Today, the Americans agreed to scale back some exercises here. We can't live with this, says this villager. It goes on every day. Over the years, stray bombs have hit the village. One killed 4 children.
That range should be closed right now.
And many see the recent summit between the two Koreas, the first since the Korean War, as a sign that tensions are easing. That doesn't mean, argues one of America's top commanders, it's time to leave.
I believe that it's certainly premature to even consider that. You know, 5th biggest military in the world, 3rd biggest army. So you cannot ignore that.
50 years ago, American troops fought and died, repelling communists from the north. The continued U.S. presence protected what is now one of Asia's most vibrant democracies, where more and more people are using their right to speak out against their oldest ally. On assignment in Seoul, I'm Barry Peterson.
After a series of earthquakes recently, nervous Tokyo residents were in no mood for a volcano eruption, but that's just what they got tonight. The volcano on an island 120 miles south of the Japanese capital darkened skies with a brew of smoke, ash, and steam 5 miles high. More than half the island's population has been ordered to evacuate. Coming up in the CBS Evening News, she killed a cop 20 years ago, but now she claims she's a changed woman who deserves to be free.
Michael Johnson versus the Maytag Excelis 2X range. With its rapid cook technology, the Maytag Excelis is the only range that cooks in half the time.
Who's fast now, Michael?
Witness the phenomenon for yourself, online or at your Maytag store.
Staples presents the Staples Coach of the Week program. It's our salute to leaders on the field and in the classroom. And it's your chance to win $5,000 in school supplies for your school, plus a visit from your local NFL head coach. To enter, visit a Staples near you. Register at www.staples.com/NFL or send your entry to Staples Coach of the Week. Watch NFL Today Sundays on CBS for winners.
My joints felt old. Then I tried OsteoBiflex, a natural supplement that repairs cartilage and lubricates joints over time. It helped change my life.
OsteoBiflex. Repair, rebuild, renew.
Well?
I asked my doctor about Lipitor.
Ask your doctor what Lipitor can do for you, or call 1-888-LIPITOR to learn more. Lipitor.
Have you noticed anything different lately? Like no more tobacco billboards, or cartoon characters selling cigarettes, and tobacco logos aren't put on clothing or merchandise anymore. Why? Because America's major tobacco companies signed a tobacco settlement agreement that restricts the marketing of tobacco products and provides $1.5 billion to fund youth anti-smoking ads and education. Things are changing, and at Philip Morris, we wanted you to know.
More than 700 new wildfires were reported in dry western states during the past 24 hours. 19 of those fires classified as major. More than 1 million acres are burning tonight in a dozen states, with the total for this near-record fire season now well over 5 million. And forecasters say firefighters will get little help from the weather this weekend. In North Carolina today, the state parole board began considering whether a confessed murderer now in a halfway house deserves freedom. But Cassie Johnson is no ordinary killer. Her victim was a police officer. Her conviction, murder in the first degree. And some are determined she will never go free, as Thalia Ashuras reports in tonight's Eye on America.
They are two women with such a startling resemblance they could be mistaken for sisters who share a decades-long tragedy. Cassie Johnson is a cop killer.
Today, I stand a new creature. That other person has passed away. She no longer lives.
Her victim, Raleigh, North Carolina police officer D.D. Jimmy Adams. He was the father of two boys, Sandra Adams' high school sweetheart and husband.
I'm not really concerned about how she may have changed, how she may have furthered her education, etc. She killed my husband.
It all started here on a winter night 20 years ago when Officer Adams pulled over a pickup truck from that roadway into this parking lot. At the wheel, a drunk Cassie Johnson. Apparently, he didn't search her when he arrested her and put her in the back seat of his patrol car. Moments later, he was shot point blank in the back of the head.
I remember having the gun in my hand and remember hearing the shot.
Johnson, then 29 and the single mother of 3, was sentenced to life in prison. She's been a model inmate, finished high school, holds a regular job. In her first ever interview, she said that time and her faith have changed her.
And I stand today with much remorse in my heart for the victim's family.
And that she deserves a second chance at life, freedom.
I can never put back what I've taken, but I have a lot to offer other people out there who are walking in my same shoes.
But Sandra Adams, now Sandra Lipschutz, isn't buying it.
The sentence is life. I want her to serve life.
She's collected petitions with help from the police community.
They are from all over the United States.
To fight Johnson's parole.
We as a family do not feel like that there is a fairness for her to be able to do the things that normal adults do, see family, have Christmas, holidays, etc., and we can't.
She had not seen her husband's killer in 20 years.
I have been on my knees many nights praying.
Until we showed her our interview.
I can tell her that her prayer has not been answered because pain has not gone away.
Any of this change your mind?
No.
Not at all?
No.
The question is, will North Carolina's parole board change its mind and give one woman her freedom, another something else to mourn? In Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm Thalia Ashuras for Eye on America.
Want to start a family?
Right now?
I just got supplemental insurance.
What's that?
Aflac. Well, if we get sick, our health insurance won't cover things like lost pay or other expenses. This does.
What's it called?
Aflac!
I don't know.
Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
A significant discovery in eye health may be lutein, a nutrient found in these healthy foods. Now Centrum has the only leading multivitamins with lutein to help maintain your precious sight. Centrum Silver, now more complete with lutein.
When I got arthritis, I thought my gardening days were over, but my doctor said activity helps, and to make it easier, he recommends Advil. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain. Advil works beautifully.
Advil, stronger than pain. Who's asking about Viagra? Someone you might expect, and also someone that maybe you wouldn't. In fact, you may be surprised at who's talking to their doctors about Viagra. So ask your doctor if a free trial of Viagra is right for you. Who's asking about Viagra? Maybe it should be you.
Ouch!
Pain again? I thought your dentist said brush with Sensodyne every day.
I stopped when the pain stopped.
Keep using it. It keeps working.
Sensodyne every day. Now try new Sensodyne Tartar Control Plus Whitening every day.
We all want to look good in our sunglasses.
Right now at LensCrafters for only $99, you can find great-looking sunglasses in your prescription.
Hundreds of the latest sunglass styles, all for only $99.
Hurry, event ends soon.
Corn that can kill butterflies. With 20 million acres growing, what will the environmental consequences be? Eye on America, Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
We have all been affected this week by the drama of the Russian submarine disaster, but it resonates especially deeply with some veterans of the U.S. Navy. 61 years ago, the USS Squalus sank on a test dive off New Hampshire. In the world's first sub rescue using a then-new diving bell, more than half the crewmen lived to tell of their ordeal. Richard Schlesinger spoke with one of them.
Gerald McLeese is one of the few people alive who knows some of what the crew of the Kursk is going through. In 1939, he was aboard the Squalus when it went down off the New England coast.
There was no time at all. We settled right on the bottom.
26 men died. McLeese and the rest waited more than a day and a half to be rescued.
We just settled in the forward torpedo room. We had no lights, no power. So they told us to just lay down and conserve the oxygen.
Even under the best of conditions, submarines are inhospitable places. This is the Growler on display at New York's Intrepid Museum. In an emergency, things start happening very quickly as levels of oxygen decrease and levels of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide increase.
What first happens is a headache. The headache starts at a very low concentration of carbon dioxide.
Dr. Frank Berlingeri served aboard submarines in the 1970s.
As the carbon dioxide builds up in the bloodstream, it stimulates the body to breathe faster, so they'll be gasping for air, can become disoriented.
Whatever they're doing on the Kursk, they're probably doing it in the dark and cold, just like Gerald McLeese in 1939. Power for light and heat probably went off when the sub hit bottom, leaving the men on board with nothing to do but lie down and wait.
It's as though you're suffocating.
It's not a good way to go.
No, it's a horrible death.
Gerald McLeese lived through one of the worst experiences a submariner can have, and his boat was later raised from the ocean floor. As the days pass, it gets less likely the men of the Kursk or their boat will have the same luck. Richard Schlesinger, CBS News, New York.
On the CBS Health Watch, President Clinton will sign a bill tomorrow establishing an AIDS trust fund for Africa, where the disease kills 6,000 people a day. The bill seeds the fund with up to $150 million a year for 2 years. The goal is to collect $1 billion to fight the spread of the AIDS virus and care for its victims. Coming up on the CBS Evening News, late night convention comedy.
Bill Bradley spoke. I tell you, the crowd was electrified, literally with cattle prod so they'd stay awake.
My dad and I are pretty close. One day last year, his arthritis was acting up, so he took some Bayer. It has all the strength of prescription Tylenol. It relieved his pain. The next day, he suffered a heart attack. Incredibly, the doctor said Bayer not only relieved his arthritis pain, but aspirin helped save his life. Knowing all that Bayer can do, Why would anyone take any other pain reliever again?
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
I see lots of people with allergies, but the ones with multi-symptom nasal allergies, they're suffering from it all. The sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. For that kind of allergy, I prescribe multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
This summer, the U.S. Olympic team will deliver many exciting performances. And as an official sponsor of the 2000 U.S. Olympic team, Pontiac is celebrating with some excitement of its own. Now, during the Pontiac U.S. Olympic Countdown, get $1,500 to $2,000 cash back on every 2000 Pontiac in stock. That's $1,500 to $2,000 on driving excitement from Pontiac. Don't wait for the Olympic Games to enjoy exciting performance. Get to your Pontiac dealer now for the best selection.
There are those among us with very simple tastes. They only want the best. And for them, there's Fancy Feast gourmet cat food. Exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast from Friskies. Good taste is easy.
Coming up tonight at 6, you'll recall the story of the 82-year-old grandmother whose car fell into a snake pit. Well, she said that may not have been an accident. We'll have her story tonight at 6.
Finally this evening, one thing we heard over and over the last few weeks is that the party conventions have become nothing more than elaborate political shows. Well, you know the rule in showbiz. Always leave them laughing.
And of course, Thursday night at the convention, the stage will be set for the biggest speech of Al Gore's life. Also scheduled for Thursday night, America's best night of sleep ever.
Al Gore, Mr. Crazy, came out at the end after his daughter's speech and made a surprise visit to the stage. This is not usually done at the convention. Political experts said this is the first time in history anybody ever said, "Wow, it's Al Gore."
There's an old saying that behind every successful man, there's a surprised mother-in-law.
Suddenly, it was one big mishpucha. The Goyim were waving their tchotchkes. They were mushugana for Lieberman. Even this bube had a smile on his pupik.
But a lot of people thought Lieberman was a little too conservative in his acceptance speech last night. In fact, tonight they're calling Al Gore's speech the Democratic response.
Some unprecedented things about Al Gore's speech. One, he claimed that he wrote it all himself. Politicians don't usually do that. He said he wrote the whole speech himself. Then he got carried away and said that he invented spell check. I don't know.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Friday night. Now here's Steve Croft for the preview of Sunday's edition of 60 Minutes.
The law that put this man behind bars has been called the toughest law in America. So tough, a lot of judges won't enforce it. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
That's 60 Minutes, Sunday night. For Dan Rather in the CBS Evening News, I'm Russ Mitchell. I'll see you first thing tomorrow on the Saturday Early Show. Have a great weekend. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
The latest castaway thrown off the island on the Saturday Early Show. Experience CBS News.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at